NMH at 1 informs on the news making waves in Namibia, Africa and the rest of the world during this lunch hour.
Now coming up in today's broadcast, G4S employees share their frustration after they downed tools yesterday to protest for better wages. Chinese rhino horn smuggler escapes from custody. Acting Kharas Chief Regional Officer shares report on Karasburg fire. South Africa's president withdraws free electricity and water perks for cabinet ministers.
These stories, economic news, sports updates and international headlines coming your way, read to you by Diana Master and Aina Quayle.
In today's midday news update, a 40-year-old Chinese man died by suicide on Monday evening after hanging himself with a piece of cloth in his garage in Windhoek's Pioneers Park. According to police, no foul play is suspected and the next of kin is yet to be informed.
Please do remember to engage with these stories on social media as we share some community stories from across the country on the other side of this short break in our visual news segment.
Active Kids is an initiative under the MyZone brand that aims to provide exciting and easy activities and fun stories. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na. Active Kids, where we actively invest in your future.
Starting off our visual news segment, G4S employees downed tools yesterday to protest for better wages, claiming they earned 2,460 Namibian dollars a basic monthly salary with no medical aid or danger allowances. They raised their concerns in July this year, but have so far not received a response to their concerns. Jemima Beakus was there.
Some small benefits, then I'm going to 2.7, 2.8. But yet, it's still small for me. You know this life of window. Some of us, we are renting. And like me, I have a kid also that I need to support, that I need to pay for school. And I also have my mom, which I'm supposed to give something from my mom. But I can't afford those things just because due to the small amount that I'm getting. So at least if they increase our salary, then I can see how I can survive. Every day we are getting stressed. In the middle of the month we are going to cash loan. End of the month, that small salary, you are going to pay to the cash loan, and then you'll be left with nothing. Food are expensive in shops, but they are not increasing our salaries. Excuses just that the company is not having money, but that's not the fact.
Actually, those people, they lie to us.
They like what?
They lie to us. They told us since we signed the contract, they told us each and every 3 months they will increase our pay. Until now, me, I've been here for 3 years. What did I do? Just 2.4. What did I do? 2.4. They told us they will increase. Until now, when they will increase? There is a question now.
So what are the other concerns you have? Only the salary?
And some of the management, they are telling us, if anybody of you is not happy with the salary, resign. Is that fair? That's demoralizing, obviously.
My question is, Namibia law, we signed 2017. Secret officer, they must pay us $10 per hour. But as how where we are now, they are paying us $7, $8. For what reason? Where that law coming from? Yeah, that's like me now, 5 years in the company. I'm getting 2.4. What's that? I'm having my children, my family. So how? How must I support in that 2.5, 2.4? What is that? If not allowed everywhere where you go to get that salary,
People, they need something to support themselves. Yeah. We have family. Everybody, nobody who have no family. G4S, the way which they are paying us is something which is colonizing us.
The acting regional officer in the Kharas region shares a report on how regional council assisted farmers in Karasburg who were affected by the raging fires in the region over the past couple of days. Let's have a look.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Benny Diergaard. I'm the Acting Chief Regional Officer for the Kharas Regional Council. Today I just want to also give feedback to the communities of the region on the veld brand that we experienced in the region. This veld fire started on Tuesday afternoon. Around 17:13 we were informed that there's a veld fire in the region and that it basically was happening at the farm Selder Rust in the Keetmanshoop rural constituency. Honorable Witbooi and Honorable Bekers informed me about the fire, and we immediately instructed our teams to go on the ground and assist the farmers in those specific areas. I know that specifically Honorable Witbooi and Honorable Bekers were in the forefront with assisting the farmers that side. So our team from both the Karasburg constituency office and also the Gruno office were also assisting, and we've provided transport, water and other drinks for the volunteers who were assisting with the maintaining of the fire there that site. Also, I've spoken to the in charge of the NDF here at Keetmanshoop, and they also after resolving all the logistical issues also assisted, albeit only on I think the Thursday afternoon or Friday, but they also assisted, and we really appreciate their assistance there. Also the Karasburg municipality or town council through Mr. Drogba there also assisted with their water tanker there, and they really I think they spent almost over $10,000 on fuel to assist with this tragic incident. What I was informed is that the police in that area also assisted, as I said, the NDF people and then also our people on the ground. On the regional council side, we've almost spent over close to $5,000–6,000 on purchasing water and drinks and foodstuff for the volunteers, and fuel of almost $10,000 also were used to assist the team there. We as a region we need to prepare, I think, ourselves better in these cases, because the first day we were running up and down, and it's only after the second day that we could communicate better and operate better to assist in this regard. So I think really we need to communicate better in future, and also all stakeholders would come together and assist. This morning, Monday morning, we had a management meeting where we also discussed the incident, and we will now, for going into the future, have a meeting, a disaster risk committee meeting, where we will assess the situation of this fire, and then we'll also look at the shortcomings from our side to prepare us better in the future. Thank you very much.
Now, Queen Peter talks to Robin Bronkhorst, Group Marketing and Social Media Coordinator of Indongo Toyota Group, about their participation at the Tourism Expo. Let's have a look.
Group Marketing and Social Media Coordinator at Ndonga Toyota. Thank you so much for joining us in studio this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, nice. Now, Toyota will be at the Tourism Expo. Tell us, what can guests look forward to at your stall at the Tourism Expo?
Obviously, we have new cars. That is what we are known for. Quality and exceptional service, which is what we want to be in the market. So we will have a range of vehicles there available to see. There will also be our salespeople will be there, so you can have a chat with them. They will be able to analyze your needs. We obviously have F&Is, which are finance and insurance executives in all of our dealerships nationwide, which will be able to work out your deals for you. So as soon as you decide which vehicle you want, you can send in your application. They can give you the best possible deal, sort out your insurance, all of that for you. So for now, you can be excited to see new cars. I don't think there will be any used cars at this stage, but there might be some exciting prizes up for grabs.
Okay, count me in, count me in, count me. As long as that price is to win, I'm probably going to digress now, but do you drive a Toyota?
I do. Of course I drive a Toyota.
It would only make sense. Now tell us, why did Ndonga Toyota make use or decide to make use of this platform?
We have been at the Tourism Expo for many, many years, and I think it's a great opportunity to be able to reach new people, people that don't necessarily, people know of us but haven't necessarily been to our dealerships or haven't interacted with our salespeople. So I think it's a great opportunity for them to broaden their horizons a bit, get to know our clients, because we obviously continuously, our clients are the most important. We want to be the preferred Toyota dealership in Namibia. So knowing our clients is what gets us there. I mean, it's the only thing that differentiates us from any other Toyota dealership. We all sell Toyotas, we all sell genuine parts, we all give you genuine service, but our people is what makes us different and that sets us apart. So we want to know our clients, we want our clients to know us, and we want that to be the reason that they come back to buy their next car.
We'll be starting off the newspaper review with news from the political scene in a bit. Stay with us.
Africa Good Morning is a current affairs program that brings you the latest from Southern Africa and beyond. News, economics, sport, weather, interviews, and so much more. For any advertising or news-related queries, contact agm@synergy.com.na. Africa Good Morning, bringing Africa to you.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Starting off our newspaper review, Ohangwena region, considered a crucial constituency in the context of the Swapo Party Congress, will be a hive of activity when candidates grace the area tomorrow. This is according to the English daily Namibian Sun, which further reports that two candidates for the vice president position, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah and Pohamba Shifeta, hail from the region and are thought to have an upper hand against Prime Minister Sarah Kugongelwa Amadila, who hails from Omusati. On the paper's page 3, Mines Minister Tom Alwendo says Namibia is not yet in a position to determine whether it would like to apply for membership to the Organization of Petroleum Countries. This despite the discovery of the Venus X1 and Graph 1 oil wells by Total Energies and Shell respectively earlier this year. The two discoveries have elevated Namibia's profile as a hydrocarbon basin, but despite the significance of the potential of the two spudded wells, Alwendo said Namibia would only make its position clear once it has reached production status. That is a matter that should be considered only after we start to produce oil and have had a chance to weigh the benefits of joining, he said in a response to a query from Namibian Sun.
Now in our next story, Republicans' lead story focuses on the Chinese rhino horn smuggler Wang Yu, who escaped from custody yesterday and was still on the run at the time of going to print yesterday. Wang reportedly escaped when he went to Brakwater with a warden from the Windhoek Central Prison to pick up a material for a supplier late yesterday afternoon. They went to the supplier to get the materials needed for a project of the Ministry of Health and Social Services that the prisoners are working on. He says once there, Wang said he had to visit the toilet, after which he escaped. Wang was the mastermind of the Chinese smuggling syndicate, together with Ling Yingling. Li Jibing and Pu Hihin is serving a 14-year prison sentence, of which 5 years have been suspended. Now, according to the paper's page 3, the former magistrate and Namibian rugby player Master Walter Mostert submitted an application to the court in an attempt to obtain an order that would exempt him from prosecution and guarantee his release. The case against Mostert in the regional court in Windhoek was consequently postponed until 30 January, pending the outcome of this civil case in the High Court, which was postponed to the 21st of October. He claims his arrest and continued detention are unconstitutional and demands his release.
Now, according to Allgemeine Zeitung's front page, 2 murders, an attempted murder, the concealment of a birth, the abuse and neglect of a child, and the rape of a 5-year-old girl. This was what the Namibian police reported in their weekend report. On the paper's page 3, the negotiation for the second bail application in fish shot corruption trial of Tamson Hatu Kulipi in the Supreme Court in Windhoek is nearing the end, reports the Allgemeine Zeitung.
We will be right back after the short commercial break with more newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. For news-related or advertising queries, please contact B7 at synergy.com.na.
The Namibian newspaper reports that only 80 out of 2,895 employees have used money in the National Training Fund for the training of existing employees and vocational training of students. The under-issue fund at the end of March 2019 had a levy surplus of 940 million Namibian dollars, while it accumulated 380 million Namibian dollars between 2018 and 2019 alone. The money is meant to finance technical vocational education and training for workers and students in the country. At least 60 families with more than 200 animals were left homeless yesterday when a group of elderly residents were evicted from the Arcadia, situated 60 kilometers from Grootfontein. The eviction came after an order was issued in the High Court in 2010 when the farm was purchased by the Land Reform Ministry.
Now, New Era reports that 6 farmers and their families who have been farming since 1998 at Farm Arcadia 1065 Unit A in the Otjozondjupa region found themselves evicted from the property yesterday and dumped near the road with their belongings. The eviction follows a court order that was granted in 2020 to resettled farmer Lazarus Kashimune. Page 3 of the paper reports that Namport has posted improved earnings during the 2021-2022 financial year, raking in 1.23 billion Namibian dollars in revenue compared to 1.11 billion Namibian dollars made during the previous financial year.
Now, Market Watch reports that applying for credit is a straightforward process and is guaranteed based on the accuracy of the documentation required by clients and whether they can pay back the loan over the agreed period.
Now, after the break, we discuss the African Continental Free Trade Agreement as we move over to economic news with Aina Kweo.
Region. For news-related or advertising queries, contact irongotalk@synergy.com.na. Irongo Talk, our community, your news.
In economic news this afternoon, the African Continental Free Trade Area will be the largest in terms of population and geographic size of any free trade area in the world, with more than 80% of signatories having ratified the agreement. The first phase on goods and services is in operation. The next phases are looking at protocols on investment, intellectual property, and competition. All of these are to be integral to supporting the overall agreement, but rules and regulations around investment, in particular where the money goes and what can be done to facilitate a more even distribution, will be defined in the element of the AfCFTA. Historically, African states have entered into older style investment treaty models. These were designed in a post-colonial era aimed at investment protection rather than promotion and facilitation of investment flows, especially between African states. The incoming investment protocols, which aims to promote sustainable intra-African investment and bring more coherence to the investment governance landscape across the continent, seeks to change all of this. Now, in our next story, there is strong pressure to improve the performance and quality of services delivered by state-owned enterprises. Namibia state-owned enterprises are facing a wide range of issues, from insolvency, weak accounting systems, and corporate governance issues. In some cases, SOEs function like family businesses, controlling or participating in the management, the family in these cases being the leadership of certain well-connected groups. Research indicates that problems in governance can be attributed to the poor operational and financial performances of SOEs in general. An effective government shareholder management model that addresses the key challenges of SOEs governance will improve the performance of SOEs and better protect the assets of governments. SOEs can be catalysts for sustainable value creation for a wider public and can also build trust by being transparent and accountable through proper communication and reporting of objectives, activities, relationships, and performances. Unfortunately, SOEs made a minor contribution to the government revenue in recent years, but required significant budget support and pose a sizable fiscal risk as the portfolio lacks financial viability. Let's have a look at our economic indicators. $1 will now cost 17 Namibian dollars and 98 cents in local currency. No major changes are seen on the NSX. Namibia Asset Management stock saw a 1.5% decrease in price on the NSX, now trading at 68 cents. Both local and overall index have closed higher. Zinc prices have dropped while other commodity prices continue to climb. South Africa's president has withdrawn free electricity and water for ministers. Stay with NMH at 1 as we bring you these stories and more in our African continent news. are the news from the African continent. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has withdrawn controversial pacts for cabinet ministers and their deputies that saw their homes supplied with free electricity and water. The benefits caused a public outcry as they were considered insensitive at a time South Africans are struggling with daily power cuts and rising cost of living. In a press briefing yesterday evening, a spokesman said the president acknowledges and appreciates the public sentiments on the matter. The ministerial handbook, which outlines ministerial benefits, will be aligned with the realities that many South Africans face, President spokesperson Vincent Manyengwa said. He said the intention behind the pacts was not a nefarious one. The intention was to try and find some form of balance between what ministers could afford versus some of the costs that they have. He is quoted saying this by the news state agency. The Serum Institute of India plans to manufacture 20,000 to 30,000 doses of an experimental Ebola vaccine by the end of November for the use in the trial against the outbreak in Uganda, its developers and a company source said. The response to Uganda's outbreak has been blunted by the absence of a proven vaccine against the Sudan strain of the virus. There have been 54 confirmed cases and 19 deaths since last month, and the first case in the capital Kampala was recorded last week, but health authorities believe the actual numbers could be higher. Vaccine against the common Zaire strain of Ebola have proven highly effective during recent outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Oxford University, which developed a COVID-19 vaccine with AstraZeneca, has an Ebola vaccine that has been shown to induce an immune response to both the Sudan and Zaire strain in phase 1 trials. Now, the World Health Organization Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said last week that clinical trials of the two vaccines could begin in coming weeks pending Ugandan government approvals without naming the vaccine. In our next story, Ethiopia's government on Monday vowed to seize control of airports and other federal facilities in war-torn Tigray, a day after African Union appealed for a ceasefire to the conflict. AU Commission Chair Musa Faki Mahamat called for an immediate and unconditional truce as combat intensified in northern Ethiopia, where pro-government forces and rebels from the Tigray region have been fighting for nearly 2 years. Faki also urged the rivals to recommit to dialogue after both sides accepted an AU invitation to peace talks that failed to materialize as violence spiraled. The authorities in Tigray said Sunday they were ready to abide by the immediate cessation of hostilities and called on an international community to press the government to come to the table. Addis Ababa said in a statement Monday it was committed to peaceful resolution of the conflict through the AU-led peace talks, but it said it would pursue this along with defense measures to protect Ethiopia's sovereignty and territorial integrity from the internal and external threats. Now, at least 13 people have now died after a Russian fighter bomb plane crashed into an apartment block in southern Russia town called Yeisk, officials said. This story and more with Diana Masters in our international news slot. Stay with us.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news, and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening@synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. Let's take a look at the news headlining the international news scene. At least 13 people have now died after a Russian fighter bomber plane crashed into an apartment block in the southern Russian town of Yeysk, officials say. The two pilots of the Su-34 jet on a training flight ejected before it hit the building and caused a huge inferno. Rescuers revised the death toll after finishing their search of the rubble, Russia's emergency ministry said. 3 children were among the victims. The officials said 68 were rescued from the blaze in the 9-story block. 19 injured people are being treated following the Monday evening crash. According to a report from the pilots who jettisoned from the plane, the reason for the crash was a fire in one of the engines during takeoff, the Russian Defense Ministry said. Footage has emerged apparently showing local residents trying to help one of the pilots, who can be seen lying on the ground with a parachute behind him. The port town of Yeysk lies near the eastern Ukrainian war zone across the Sea of Azov from the devastated city of Mariupol. In our next story, Britain's Prime Minister Liz Truss apologized for mistakes in her program that caused investor confidence to evaporate and her poll ratings to plunge before nearly all of it was finally shredded on Monday, but said she would not step down. "I do want to accept responsibility and say sorry for the mistakes that have been made," Truss told the BBC. I wanted to act, but to help people with their energy bills, to deal with the issue of high taxes, but went too far and too fast." Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt, who was appointed on Friday after Truss sacked her close ally Kwasi Kwarteng, jettisoned the remaining major planks of her tax-cutting agenda on Monday, including scaling back her vast energy support scheme. Truss and Kwarteng attempted to upend British fiscal policy by unveiling £45 billion of unfunded tax cuts last month to snap the economy out of stagnation. That's it for the international news. After the break, we get into the local sports news.
Flex is your health and fitness show that focuses on the health of the mind, body and spirit. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na.
Now, with the rugby season concluded, Namibia Media Holdings caught up with the FNB Kudus to hear about their seasons and plans for next year. According to Alistair Carolson, the chairman of the club, it was without a doubt an exceptional season in many respects. He said the FNB Kudus showed great fighting spirit this year, with the first team losing 2 of its games to finish second after the playoff rounds. A highlight was for the team to be able to boast that we beat this year's finalists, UNAM and Wanderers, home and away. The first and second teams both qualified for the semi-finals, he said. More than 90 male players and 30 women registered as players at the beginning of the year. However, due to the unfortunate fact that training had to take place in Swakopmund, as there was no field in Walvis Bay, the number of players rapidly declined. In our next story, the Standard Bank Alex Angermund Handicap is set to take place this coming weekend at the garden town of Okahanja. The event, to be hosted on Saturday, will see some of Namibia's top horses racing for bragging rights and prize money. Nambred Maidens 1,000 and 1,400 meters, as well as Nambred Graduation 1,000 and 1,400 meters will be in action. The event will also include Nambred D Division over 1,000 and 1,800 races. Nambred A Division horses will also race over 1,000 and 1,800 meters. The competition will also have horses that were imported from outside the country. They added that an open 1,400 meter race will be on the cards, while a fun race consisting of a 400 meter open sprint is also among the planned races of the day. Moving right along, the Sunfest Bodybuilding and Fitness Classic event took place for the first time in Namibia at the Swakopmund Multipurpose Center on Saturday. The event, which saw about 20 athletes competing, was hosted by South African-based Gentle Giant Promotions and produced a number of winners in various categories. Markoville de Vries won the junior bodybuilding under 23 category, as well as bodybuilding up to the 70 kg category. Norman van Veek won the master bodybuilding category. Yvette van Veek won the junior ladies bikini category, and Bia Fayoun won the ladies bikini category. Audrey Miao won the master ladies bikini category in the first session of the event. That's it for local sports. After the break, international sports. Stay with us. Karim Benzema said he had become more ambitious with age as the Real Madrid and France striker won the Ballon d'Or on Monday and dedicated his trophy to the people. Benzema, who turns 35 in December, the day after the World Cup final, is 5 months older than Lionel Messi was when the Argentine won the most prestigious individual award in football for the 7th time last year. Benzema was just 21 when he joined Real Madrid from Lyon in 2009. He has come into his own in the Spanish capital since Cristiano Ronaldo's departure in 2018 when Benzema was 30. Robert Lewandowski received the award for last season's top goal scorer, renamed the Gerd Müller Trophy, for the second straight year at the Ballon d'Or ceremony on Monday. The 34-year-old, who joined Barcelona from Bayern Munich in the close season, scored 57 goals in 57 matches for club and country last term. He was the top scorer in the Bundesliga with 35 goals. Lewandowski also won the award last year when it was presented for the first time after breaking the Bundesliga scoring record for a single season previously held by Müller with 41 goals, but he is yet to win the Ballon d'Or itself, having narrowly missed out to Lionel Messi 12 months ago. Moving over now, the news that the Springboks have secured the services of their Japanese-based players for the final test of the calendar year will be a massive boost to their hopes of ending the European tour on a high. The Boks conclude their international calendar on 26 November against England at Twickenham, a fixture that was imposing as it falls outside the World Rugby's calendar window and would mean that any overseas-based players would need permission from their clubs to be part of the test squad for that game. Traditionally, club teams have balked at the prospect of this, and it doesn't seem too much different this time around for those players based in Europe. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this commercial break.
Careers Bistro focuses on the movers and shakers in the corporate world. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact Zone at synergy.com.na.
Thank you very much for joining us on NMH at 1. Here are our highlights. Now, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has withdrawn controversial pacts for cabinet ministers and their deputies that saw their homes supplied with free electricity and water. At least 13 people have now died after a Russian fighter bomber plane crashed into an apartment block in the southern Russian town of Yaks, officials said. With the rugby season concluded, Namibia Media Holdings caught up with the FNB Kudus to hear about their season and the plans for next year.
Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs, economic news, sports and international headlines. That is it from us in studio, but don't go anywhere because up next is news from Namibia's central region in today's edition of Regional Review.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Regional Review. My name is Jareen Hoff and I'm taking you on a quick news trip through the Khomas region. Right, in our first story today, the Capricorn Foundation yesterday announced that Serio Okondo from Awana Foods, based in Oshakati, is the 2022 Capricorn Foundation Food Waste Challenge winner. She goes home with $100,000, which she says will go a long way to helping her cause. Yolanda Nell has more.
Sarah Ikondu of Awana Foods in Oshakati walked away $100,000 Namibian richer on Monday after submitting the winning pitch in creating a sustainable solution to the food waste challenge. An emotional Sarah said that her vision is for an Africa that is food secure. As an entrepreneur, acknowledgements in the form of prizes like these go way beyond the winning itself. They are a validation of a vision she carries with her daily. At Awana, they preserve perishable local and indigenous foods, extending their shelf life and enhancing food security and nutrition in the country. According to her, about 30% of horticulture produce goes to waste before even reaching the market. This while most of the population faces hunger and malnutrition.
It really was something that Lucas Holder, Capricorn Group's manager for innovation, thought about and came to us more than 2 years ago, around the time when we established the foundation, when we launched the foundation. So this has been in the making for more than 2 years. What I want to do today is really, on behalf of the board, thank Lucas for his dedication, commitment, passion in managing this project for us for the last 2 years. Because really, you exemplify what it means to be a connector of positive change. So,
in essence, open innovation is about tapping into the creativity of the masses. So it's about solving complex problems by combining collaborative creativity of many experts and people, etc. And I can tell you, I've been studying innovation for a while now. There is no better way of coming up with creative solutions than combining the creative capability of human beings with different perspectives, different roles, different expertise. So that's the power of open innovation, and that's why we decided to use open innovation to address some of the most challenging issues that Namibia has.
ladies and gentlemen, in our terms and conditions, it was very clearly stated that employees of Capricorn Group and any of our subsidiaries will not be eligible for the $100,000 prize money, but that didn't stop employees from entering. And just showing that our employees really believe in our group's purpose of being connectors of positive change. And one of our employees came out 10th overall, and he is Peter Gardenhorst from Capricorn Group's IT department, and the board, Peter, and the board of the Capricorn Foundation felt that we want to recognize your efforts as an employee, so we've decided to give you $10,000 Namibian.
In our next clip, Jemima Beekes has more on G4S guards who yesterday downed their tools, citing unfair labour practices. Staff members of the G4S security company in Windhoek yesterday downed tools to protest for better wages, claiming they earn a basic salary of 2,460 Namibian dollars per month with no medical aid or danger allowances. They raised their concerns in July this year, but have so far not received any response to their concerns. In a media release by the Security Association of Namibia, or SAN, the association distanced itself from the strike actions by security personnel as it is deemed unconstitutional according to the Labour Act number 11 of 2007.
I carry gun, I go shoot people there or fight with people there, nothing. No medical aid. No medical aid. What is $6 per hour? I can wake up $6 per hour.
No aircon, no heater. They remove aircon. They remove aircon from the cars. Come out. we cannot drive cars with aircon, so we are driving cars like that. You can even see what type of cars are these? Like that? Like that, really? No, we are really suffering.
San said that with regards to the minimum wage, the association is continuously engaging with the Wage Commission as prescribed by the Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation. In light of this, San said it is still awaiting feedback and guidance from the Commission as well as the Ministry on the prescribed minimum wage for the security industry. The Security Association of Namibia has pleaded with members and stakeholders to continue working together and not to allow any form of political influence as negotiations and discussions are ongoing to address the several issues that continue to impact this sector. The association also pleads for the intervention of the relevant stakeholders and the ministry pertaining to illegal strikes to be brought to book, as this instigates anarchy and possible riots.
There is no medical, there is no dangerous allowance. You are driving alone the whole night shift. Monday to Friday to Monday, night shift alone. There is no dangerous allowance. Only day. The whole 12 hours. The whole weekend. No dangerous allowance. You are only driving, you are supposed to drive too, you are driving alone.
We get double punishment. Once you make one mistake, you are going to be punished 3 times. First you get a warning, and then you be deducted. And then your days are also being cut. Your off days. Yeah? Where does it fit now? Why should you get triple punishments?
And sometimes they don't want to allow our leaves.
Like you can work in the public holiday, but
you apply for a leave, then they will tear it.
Windhoek Mayor Shadai Gavanas last week announced that the municipality has created a framework that will help residents manage future disasters. Elizabeth Joseph was there.
We are aware that Namibia has developed and adopted a national strategy for mainstreaming disaster risk reduction. In the same vein, disaster risk reduction within the city needs to be mainstreamed throughout all departmental plans. I'm happy to inform you that in May this year, Council approved the reviewed disaster risk management plan following consultations with all departments and external key stakeholders. The plan is accessible to the public on our website. Furthermore, for the first time since the promulgation of the Disaster Risk Management Act, the city established its Disaster Risk Management Committee, which held its first meeting on the 21st of September 2022. The following plans and programs complement this year's IDDRR theme very well. The Disaster Risk Management Plan, which outlines the roles of all the departments prior, during and after a disaster occurs. The plan further considers the importance of community involvement during all phases of any disaster situation, as well as the media, tertiary institutions, non-governmental organizations, and the private sector. Number 2, the Community Risk Assessment, short for CRA. This project has specific objectives. Number 1, to assess risks and hazards faced by communities and the capacities they have to deal with them. Identify disaster risk reduction activities to prevent or lessen the effects of expected hazards, risks, and vulnerabilities. Draw up a disaster risk management action plan for inclusion in the development plans of the city and to those of other stakeholders. Devise preparedness and response plans for identified unavoidable risks. Compile a comprehensive report on all the findings and recommendations for stakeholders, and to compile a citywide risk profile and mapping. Number 3 is the School Safety Program. Since 2012, the city and the Ministry of Basic Education and Culture has rolled out various initiatives to ensure that all schools in Windhoek are better prepared for emergencies or disasters at any given time. We assist schools to set up emergency preparedness plans and raise awareness on the disaster risk management discipline. The city further provides basic training on the use of fire extinguishers and assists teachers to demarcate emergency assembly sites, floor design plans, carry out emergency drills and conduct a quiz for participating schools.
The Ministry of Environment spokesperson Romeo Muyunda says several options are being considered to deal with problematic baboons. These baboons have been entering spaces occupied by people in the Okapale informal settlement. This comes after a child was killed and another severely injured last week by these animals. The settlement lies on the boundary of the Donviljoen Game Reserve. Ukhone Tlage was there.
Yes, I think the ministry has received disturbing news regarding the baboons in this area, and as a follow-up, we have now come here to engage the communities in terms of trying to understand what is it that they are going through, what the situation is, and before the news broke in the local media, we did not know about the situation that people are faced with here because we haven't received any reports. But after all the reports that have been made in the media, unfortunately, with the death of a 5-year-old baby, we have now come here to come and listen to the communities. We also want to understand the extent of the problem. We have engaged them in terms of what are the do's and the don'ts that people can, so that people can keep themselves safe, as well as their properties, as well as their families. Moving forward, we will intensify these engagements. We have had also suggestions from some of the community members, which we will take.
To make a match, so that you are working was for the Ministry of Tourism. So la jele of jealous can of jealous a ministry of dengasemak fence mark fani crack offset. Yes, it cannot meskin better views. Sinji. Yeah, contratanta kutulondra te Rushen. Yeah, Rushen.
Yeah, mara Rosiri.
It can be better views.
That's for a symbol.
Yeah, it can lang fat mar. Ma desa hui khadakte.
Yes, alright.
My.NA Property Show provides viewers with the best in-class content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest property-related products and services. If you would like to feature your brand or your campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Properties, more than just a roof over your head.